Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Show Me the Shift podcast with me, Coach Lenora, certified life coach, HR certified professional, international best-selling author, and the creator of the Victorious Movement. How is everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody is well, everybody is feeling blessed, and just having an amazing Wednesday. As you know, today is the day that we're going to talk about career. So each day we talk about something different. So Monday it was affiliate marketing. Wednesday is any type of career pathing, career searching. And then on Friday will be purpose. So we will discuss purpose. As you know, I am a career and calling coach. And so I want to make sure that I focus on the things that are important to you. And for the affiliate marketing part, that just is important to me because it is an amazing way for people to generate extra income, even if they don't necessarily want to leave their job and have that type of shift like I have done. You still can generate something, especially in these hard times where everything is getting more and more expensive. So, on that note, today we're going to talk about the career from the perspective of what are the things that we can do to understand a little bit more about a job description. So, when you think of a job description, as I have mentioned on a previous podcast, it is kind of your insight into the company, the organization, what it is that is important to them. When it comes to a particular job, sometimes they even share information about their company or their culture, either on the job description or somewhere on that page where you would apply to a role. And so you, of course, have the right and option to determine if that position and job is in alignment with what it is that you would want to do, and that company culture as well in alignment with what it is that you want to do. However, at the same time, some people have a little bit of a challenge in understanding, what is this job description really saying? What is it trying to let me know so that I can have a better understanding of, should I even apply? Like, am I really qualified for this opportunity? And so based on that, I've actually created a mini series called From Overlooked to Interviewed. And that mini series is like 8 modules, and it really breaks down everything from understanding the job description to how to curate your resume towards the company that you're applying to. How do you build up your confidence when it comes time to interview for the role? Because that's really important. You need to have a level of confidence. Like, people are just as nervous about interviewing as they are about public speaking and taxes and everything else. And so how do you build up a level of confidence? It's always going to feel a little weird in interviews. It's always going to feel a little awkward, but are there some tools and tips that you can have to be able to show up at that interview knowing, hey, these might be some questions that they'll ask me. Oh, I've really studied my skills and what I can bring to the table for a role like this, and I'm ready to answer their questions. And oh, by the way, I have some questions of my own on the back end of that, so that way they know how interested I am in this opportunity. And it just covers a lot of wonderful things, from basically the application process through interview, through negotiating offer, to, starting the job, things of that nature. So if you're interested in this particular post, you will find a link that will give you access to that. You can look at it today. You'll get a $60 discount for using the link and getting the information. And I say today, but anytime you use the link, you'll be able to get that $60 discount. So on that note, we'll start talking about what you need to understand when it comes to a job description. So first and foremost, do I have most of the job duties and understand what they are? So when you are reading the information on the job description, do you understand even what they are saying that they're even asking for when it comes to the responsibilities and duties of the job? So look at that information, see if you can gather what it is that they're talking about, what it is that they're spelling out and saying that they're interested in, and figuring out, okay, do I at least understand what this is? Because if it's very high level over your head, then that's going to let you know that that's the type of company that you're going to be working for. Even if it has the same title as what you're doing, it could be a tech company or a company that is just really more into things at a more I don't know how you want to describe it, but just simply higher level, that you might get there and feel like, I feel like a fish out of water. I don't really understand their language, how they talk, how they communicate with each other is very technical, or not in a way that makes it really easy for anybody, especially a novice, to come in and be able to understand what it is that are the responsibilities of the role. So they may write their job descriptions as such, and it could be a strategic way to weed people out. Hey, if you can't understand this, then you're not going to really fit into our culture. If you can, great, go ahead and apply. So keeping that in mind, like, do you even understand what the responsibilities are even asking for? And then from that, if you do, and you're reading the description and you say, well, I understand most of what they're asking for. I understand that I am probably 80% there, 75% there, but there are some parts to this job description that I just simply don't know. Then the next question you should ask yourself is, are these things that I can learn? Are these things that, okay, I might not know them, but are they teachable? And am I coachable enough to be able to learn these skills in the future? And if the answer to that is yes, then absolutely go on to the next question. But if the answer to that is no, I really either have no desire to learn the skill sets that are the other ones that are listed, or I have the desire, but I just don't know really if I will be able to learn these skills. Maybe it's because of some other experiences that you've had in other places of work, or if you just know that you have challenges in different areas of learning for different things, like pivot tables and Excel spreadsheets, is not my favorite thing. And so therefore, can I learn it? Yes. Will I be excited about it? Maybe not. So just figuring out that for yourself, because they can only answer so much of that in the interview that'll give you more insights as to if that's something you would want to do on a consistent basis or not. A lot of times, how highly positioned that particular skill set is in the job description also speaks to how frequently they expect that you'll have to use that skill. And so if there are skills that you don't have, just determining, okay, can I learn them? Do I want to learn them? And if I do, great, let me go ahead and apply. If I don't even know if I want to learn these, they're really not in alignment with what I want to do for my next career, keep it moving. Okay. Then we have, do you have similar experience? So if you don't necessarily have the exact skill set that they're looking for, do you have something that is similar? Do you have something that you can say, all right, I don't have the particular experience that they're looking for with, let's say a new technology, let's say with ChatGPT. I don't have the exact experience of what they're looking for in regards to ChatGPT. However, I do have experience with this other predictive system, this other predictive network, this other way of doing things, of automation, and utilizing that to say, okay, well, I don't have this, but I do have that. And again, am I teachable and coachable to be able to learn the other skills that they're looking for you to have with ChatGPT, so you can step into that and learn a new skill. So that's another thing, just figuring out, do you have something that's somewhat similar that you can kind of bring to the table and say, well, it's not that, but this is something that I have. And if so, is there a way you can incorporate that into your resume? So as you apply, they can see certain words. Maybe all they care about is being able to have predictive knowledge, right? Of something that as you start to type something, it finishes the sentence for you. And if that's the case, okay, great. I'm already in alignment with what it is that they're looking for. And see if that is something that they are accepting of as they review your resume and are ready to move people forward. So figuring that out as well. The other thing is determining, as you're reviewing the job description and information, what are those minimum qualifications? What are those qualifications that they are saying are the bare bone, have to have day one, coming in the office? And usually those have a year attached to them, right? So if you see that, thinking of, okay, what years of experience are they requesting? They are saying that they need 5 years of experience in X. If you only have 3 years of experience in X, then I would probably say there's really no need to apply. Number one, they're always going to get someone who's closer to the years of experience that they have listed. There's really no need to interview with someone with less experience than what they have listed as being the amount of experience that they're looking for. But also, they may even decide, I said 5 years, but we're going to probably bring in more people who have 5 to 7 years. Like if we can get more years of experience with people who apply, even better. Whereas they would more than likely not decide that they would go for less years of experience and want to train a person up. Normally, what they would do is probably have to pull down that job posting and then repost at a lower level, which means, of course, lower pay, so that way a person can come in with less years of experience. So if you do see a job and it is posted for a certain number of years of experience, just know that it is rare, few and far between, that companies will take a chance on somebody who doesn't have that number of years of experience, especially right now in 2025, where the job market is so competitive. There's so many people. You have the recent grads that are looking for work. You have the people who are laid off who are looking for work. And then you just have the regular people who just through, regular situations are looking for work. So based on all of that, it's really going to be difficult with it being so competitive that you're going to find that companies will take that chance and say, I'll take someone with lower experience. And sometimes they won't even be able to justify it because, well, if you had a panel of, candidates and you had so many with higher level experience and they interviewed, how do you pick someone with the lower level experience and gave them the job over the ones who had the higher level experience? So that's sometimes a little bit tricky and hard to justify and can make it look like there's some nepotism that's going on or some other things that are happening behind the scenes that are making it feel like this other person with less experience is more qualified, which we have probably all at some point in our career worked alongside someone that we may have felt wasn't quite qualified for the role that they were put into. And you know that maybe it was because of something else that had happened behind the scenes that got them to where they were. And they're feeling overwhelmed and they're feeling stressed and maybe even taking that out on their employees. But it's like, the whole thing was it was going to be a ripple effect anyway because of the fact that the person truly wasn't qualified coming in the door in the first place. So we never want that. So you don't want to be that person. Make sure that you have the minimum qualifications of the job so that way when you apply, you're right in alignment with what it is that they're looking for. We also have that if there's any certifications, any type of licenses, things of that nature. If that is the case and it's on the job description as required, please just make sure you also have those required skills, that those are things that you actually can bring to the table on day one. You come in the door, you already have them. Now, you might find that some companies are going to post those things as preferences or maybe even highly preferred. And if that's the case, then that's when you would go look and see and say, if they're saying that it is something that I can have in the next 3 months, 6 months, year, that I can gain the certification, do you feel as though that is something that you can commit to? Because typically with licenses and certifications comes study, comes tests. And so therefore, do you feel as though in the next 3 months, 6 months, year, you would be able to commit to doing the work and taking the tests or studying the materials, getting to a classroom and sitting and, learning the information from a professor or educator? And if that's the case, great. Go ahead and apply. But if you feel as though, this next year is going to be a challenge, I have this on my plate, this is going on, the kids have soccer games and I'll be driving around to, carpool and all of those things. And you may not be able to commit to what it takes to get that license or certification, then maybe it's a pass. Maybe it's not something that you'll truly be able to make come to fruition, because if that does happen and you get the job and then you're not as committed to it, that's going to show. That will absolutely show. And then you don't want to be on the other end of that where they gave you 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then it's approaching that time and nothing has been done that has gotten you even closer to getting that certification. So on that note, I would say just be sure that you are willing to commit the time, energy, and effort that goes into those types of situations. Okay. Then we have If all those things happen, so we talked about understanding the duties of the job, and we talked about making sure that if there are things in there that you can't do, can you learn those parts? We talked about the similar experience that you could potentially bring to the table. And we talked about how you should have the minimum qualifications at least to apply to the job. And oh, by the way, if there's certifications or licenses, do you already have them, or can you commit to the time and energy it would take to obtain them within the allotted time frame of the company? So after all of that, then you decide, okay, did I at least meet 60%, 70% of what it was that they were looking for, maybe 80%, just depending on where you fall on that kind of spectrum. And if you feel as though, look, 60, 65, 70% of what they're looking for, I actually have, then it's probably a good idea to at least throw your name in the hat and apply to the role. You never know what can happen. A lot of times, and we talked about this before as well, women especially will take themselves out of consideration for opportunities because of the fact that they'll feel as though, I'm not quite qualified. I don't have 90 or 100% of what they're looking for, so I won't apply. I actually made a TikTok about this, and a lady immediately was like, I just did that this morning. I saw a job description. I was like, oh, I don't have, 100% of what they're looking for. I'm not going to apply to it. And she had more like 80%, and she didn't even apply. So I was like, girl, go back and apply. So keep that in mind, is that if you have a more than 50%, but I would really say more like 60 to 75% of what the company is looking for, go ahead and apply. Number one, there are people who will apply with much less than that experience. They'll just throw spaghetti at the wall and apply to everything. You don't want to be one of them. However, if you feel as though, look, this is the information that I can bring to the table, this is how I can potentially help this company and show that I am a leader, somebody who will take initiative, someone who is willing to learn and can be a team player, all of those things. And I would say, go ahead, apply to the opportunity and see what happens. If you're selected, great, prepare accordingly for the interview. If you're not selected, no harm, no foul. You don't get anything different from not applying and a no. Those both give you the same results. You didn't show up for the interview, but at the same time, at least you put your name in the hat and you had a 50% chance of being able to get to selected. So keeping that in mind, 60, 75%, go ahead and apply. And then the last thing is, of course, don't apply if the job truly doesn't sound like something you would want to do day in and day out. I am often so surprised that a job description can be extremely clear and share everything that this particular role is responsible for. People start, and within 6 months, they're like, I hate this job. I hate the work. Now, if it is about the leadership, the company, things of that nature, you may not be able to pick up on those things from a job description. Of course, you're going to need to get into the job and work. But if it's at the actual work of the job, the actual things that the job is responsible for, the capabilities of the job, and the things that were really written out, but now this person is like, but I didn't really ever want to do that thing, then those are the things that I would say, absolutely just keep in mind. Is this work that you truly want to do? And if you do want to do that work, because you have to think, this could be work that you don't think of it from a perspective of a stepping stone to the next opportunity. Think of it from a perspective of, this could be my day to day. This could be my job for the next 3, 5, 10, 20 years until retirement, whatever the case may be. But think of it from that perspective, as opposed to a perspective of, oh, I'm just getting my foot in the door and then I'll go on to my next opportunity. That's great too. However, that is not promised and that's not guaranteed. And a lot of people get frustrated because they take that stepping stone opportunity to get in the door. And when things don't happen in 2 or 3 years, then they're frustrated. So just keep in mind that this may be a job and things that you'll need to be doing for an extended period of time. So make sure that it's something that you want to do right out the gate. And so on that note, that is it for today's Show Me the Shift. As I mentioned, I do have a mini course called Overlooked to Interviewed. If you'd like to look into that, there's some information in the description that's linked in this post. And it has all the information of everything from reading job descriptions, understanding them, to resumes, interviews, and so much more. So on that note, everybody, that is it for today's Show Me the Shift. I really appreciate everybody's time and effort of coming in, picking up the information. If anything speaks to you, by all means, leave a comment. And I'd love to hear from you and if you even use any of the information that I've shared. So on that note, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and we'll talk again on Friday about purpose. Take care, everybody.